everyone, and welcome. Don't let anyone shame you out of your gifts. They were planted in you because your soil, they can only grow in your soil. Those are the seeds that God has planted in you, and they can only grow in you. So don't let somebody guilt you or shame you out of your gifts that He gave you, that God gave you. You know, and they are your responsibility now. I've said before that the graveyard is full of ideas, full of potentials. That cure or that vaccine or the cure for whatever is probably sitting in a graveyard right now. A lot of our ancestors were chosen ones, and they're in a graveyard because, somebody didn't say something. They suffered in silence. They went through what they had to go through because they were ignorant. They didn't have the knowledge that we have today. And that knowledge could have been brought forth by someone who was gifted but ashamed to bear their gifts to the world. The whole thing about these little demons that run around, these little narcissists, these gang stalkers, all these people who, these super spreaders, they love to spread the energy of fear. And unfortunately, fear is stronger than love because love's vibration has been dropped so low because of the abuse of its name, the abuse of what people do in its name. So love is vibrating lower than fear right now, and fear is now stronger than love. So now people don't have enough love in their heart for just people in general, for themselves, to express their gifts, to get this out of, to get that energy out of them that needs to be shared, that God wants, God wants it to bloom. So they try to suppress their own seeds from blooming and stop it from getting any sunlight with a cloud of fear. And people will do this to you. It starts in childhood, where, their family is always placing down in their head with their opinions. There's no opinions, there's no facts, there's just opinions. And rotten ones at that, just like the fruit that they bear. If they bared any, if their seeds weren't suppressed, sometimes they can't help it. It's just now second nature to them because somebody else has suppressed, has dug around and stirred up their soil so that they couldn't grow roots either. Don't let these people put their pesticides in your soil, put their chemicals in your soil, because theirs has been all stirred up and mixed up. Because what they spit is poisonous, and it's poisonous to your mind, mentally, and on every possible level you can imagine. If it affects one thing, it's affecting everything else. Guarantee it. So don't let your dreams die. Don't let your talents, your gifts, don't let those die just off the strength of somebody's words or lack of strength thereof. Just because they doubt you, because they doubt themselves so heavily, because they weren't able to achieve it, because they weren't able to put out that amount of energy and that amount of work to make it work for them, to make their gifts work for them. They want to stop you from succeeding and using your gifts to help anybody else. And it's a circle of death. Killing dreams before they even realize their true potential, killing talent and gifts before they see the light of day, before they see any real potential, any growth, before you get a chance to really know what you're capable of, or that you're even capable of. Because some people, they never even realize they have a gift because they are blinded by people's damn opinions. The seeds of doubt is what they want to place on, is what they want to grow in your soil. And a lot of people are successful, unfortunately, when they're placing these seeds of doubts. Do not doubt yourself. They're shy people, sure. Sometimes people are just shy, whether somebody's placing doubt in their head or not. They're just people who like to stay to themselves. And it doesn't help that we have a society that tells you to be yourself, and then they turn around and judge you for it. well, guess what? There will be people who won't tell you to be yourself, and they'll tell you to fuck off, and you should be ashamed of who you are, so on and so far. You should be ashamed of what you look like, but there will always be somebody with some negative shit to say. You gotta ignore them, because they're sitting there with their negative words and negative mindset and probably negative bank accounts, and these people, regardless, they will be forced to watch your seeds grow, because some people, they watch you just to see if you fail. Have they failed yet? Have they fucked up yet? Have they fallen on their face yet? How to, try to read your facial expressions and your body language to see how you feel about yourself, about anything in particular at all, so they can try to pick at it like a little maggot, because they try to make you feel like shit, but they stay on you, so they must be maggots, right? A bitch beneath you. These are bitches beneath you. And the whole thing is like, yeah, they're watching for your downfall, but they'll forever be, and that is their curse. They'll forever be watching for your downfall, and the biggest part of the curse is that they'll never see it. They'll see your success. They might see you stumble, and they might see you fall, but they won't see you give up and quit like they did. That's what they're waiting for. They're waiting for the mirror image of themselves, a quitter, a loser, a failure. There is no failure if you're still trying. There are only failed attempts. You only fail when you give up, when you let that seed die. And then your dreams, your all your potential, that God is giving you. It's like disrespecting God. You got this gift, this awesome gift that can contribute to the world in a way that nobody else can. You can relate to certain people that nobody else can, or relate to people in a way that nobody else can. And here you are smacking God in the face with it. It's saying, I'm not going to let this grow. You're throwing the dirt back in his face. You're stirring up your own dirt, with your hands, and throwing it in God's face, versus trying to suppress it, versus letting God carry you and push you on a swing to elevation. Like, what is that? I was shy, and I do, there are regrets of not harnessing my gifts sooner, but I also didn't know how gifted I was because of the people I was around. And then sometimes you have to think, if somebody's trying to suppress whatever somebody's trying to suppress in you, whatever somebody keeps telling you, oh, it's not a good idea, you probably shouldn't do it, you should probably look into that a little more and see if you're gifted in that area. If you're gifted in that way that they keep trying to stop you from doing, or stop you from going from, or see the kind of people that gravitate towards you if you use this gift, if you expose this gift and show it to the world. Because that's the whole thing, is like, people, they want to keep you, people that don't want you to make it, usually they just want to keep you all to themselves, so they know that your gift is going to elevate you so far past them that they will have no access to you, and they want you to stay in the past with them, remembering the good old days with them, because that's the only part of you that they can get access to, ever again. Once you blow up, they will not, unless they elevate, they just get left behind, because they don't know how to navigate their own skills. Nobody taught them to, and they didn't do the work. They didn't want to do the work. So, your work and their work are going to show, and their work will their results will pale in comparison to yours, because you actually got out and got gritty with it. You got in the dirt and you planted those, seeds. You tended to the soil to make sure those seeds grew to their highest potential. But they sat back and watched your seeds, while their own just withered away. Their own crops, they just withered away. They bear no fruits. Their trees and their lands are barren. So I just wanted to leave you with that. Don't let somebody else, opinions, sad, pitiful little opinions, stop you from growing your crops, because your crops can feed the world. It can end some trials for the world, or at least enough people, or it might plant the seed in somebody else to grow their crops, and that might save the world. It's a circle of life. Stop letting people involve you in their circle of death. With that I say, drink water, eat roots, heal properly, exercise. Let the world know. You tell the world what your time and what you yourself are worth. And most importantly, life is too short to mind other people's business, so it's best to mind your own. Peace.